this opportunity to explain to you who we are, how we work, and what are the benefits of us. My name is Raj, and I'm the Managing Director of an accredited training organization called Raj Khanna Associates Ltd, based in the Kingdom. Now, before we talk about the different methods that are available, I need to talk about implementing change initiatives in the organization. So whenever we are implementing any change, the first important element is to deliver something. And that something we refer to as being tangible. So for example, food on the table is a thing. A new computer system, a new office, or a new building is a thing. Now that thing is referred to in different methods by different terminology. They may be referred to as a solution, product, or an output. So once we have delivered the thing, it is important that we train the staff on how to use that, and that gives them the desired capability. Once they have the desired capability, the staff then need to transition from the old way of working to the new way of working. So to start off with, we may be using a paper system. Instead of using paper, we're going to go digital and use iPads. So that's changing from the old way to the new way. And as a result of changing, we then deliver some improvements, which are referred to as benefits. It's essential that people who are operationally in charge of the business areas are shown that it is their responsibility to get their staff members, their team members, to change using paper to using an iPad, not the responsibility of the program and the project managers. Therefore, in any change, those operational managers need to be involved, engaged as early as possible. Having transitioned from the old way of working to the new way of working, we would deliver some measurable improvements referred to as benefits. So these are the steps that we go through in any change initiative that we are dealing with. First, we deliver the thing. Then we get staff to transition, and then we realize the benefits. The principles of project management cover the delivery of this thing. Once we have delivered it, we then follow the principles of change management. Change management can also sometimes be referred to as transition management because we are transitioning. So it's about the human side. It's about the psychology of change. How do you get a youngster to eat the food? How do you get your staff to go from paper to using an iPad? So we have to look at the psychology of change, and that is covered by the change management. So essential that we understand project management, and of course, most crucially, we understand change management. And then of course, we have benefits management. So these are the kind of principles we follow. There's also a question then, what is program management? So program management covers all of those areas at high level. So it's like an umbrella term. So it's important we ask our colleagues to say which area are they focusing in. If they're in the world of project management, then they need to understand the principles of project management very well. If they are operational managers, then they need to understand something about project management, but most crucially about change management. Now, it's not silos. So project managers, program managers also need to understand the psychology of change. They can then act as change advisors. People on operational side also need to understand project management because we said they need to engage as early as possible. And of course, Both project program management and change management need to understand benefit management. So if you are sitting at strategic level, then you may simply follow the principles of program management, because you need to understand the fact this thing needs to take place, but you don't get involved at the granular level about project and change, but you need to be aware. So it's important we understand where we sit in the picture. The number of qualifications now in the world that individuals are being sent to: managing successful programs, referred to as P. 2, Agile, change management, and of course, Scrum Master. There is quite a view out there that says the software need to understand Agile and Scrum. Wrong, because when you work with us, we will demonstrate to you that principles of program, project, change management don't just apply to software, don't just apply to work, because these principles also apply to our daily life. As we talked earlier, how do we ensure the food we deliver is fit for purpose? Project management. How do we ensure that the people are actually eating the food? What's the psychology we use with our children? And if once a child eats that food, then what are the benefits? So it's important that these principles are understood both from a personal and from a work environment. What is the difference between waterfall and agile? Well, traditionally, elements such as Prince 2 were dealt with as waterfall, which is delivering that solution all at the same time. The problem is it may feel very overwhelming if everything is delivered all at the same time. Even food. If you put food on a plate, you may feel very overwhelmed. So it's important to think about things in an agile, or we like to think about an incremental way, so that you deliver a module, get people to start doing it. Based on learning, you then deliver the next element. So we need to understand which methods work, because they are not silos, because the elements may work in some cases, in others they may not. So it's important that you understand what is waterfall and what is incremental agile, and then decide. So agile, we say, it's a different mindset, not necessarily a different skill set. Understood what agile and waterfall are, how do we work and where do we come in? Well, first of all, we are an accredited training organization accredited by APMG International, based in High Wycombe in the United Kingdom, and we are accredited with them for the Agile, Project Management, Change Management, Scrum Master, and Praxis. PeopleCert have been appointed on behalf of AXELOS, and with them, for managing successful programs, Prince 2, and as we move along, possibly through to PO. So we have a very good knowledge of all the methods that are used, certainly in the world that we're in program and project management. So using that experience, what we have been doing, of course, working globally. So although we work in the United Kingdom, we also have lots of work that we've done in mainland Europe, Holland, Belgium, Germany, etc. We also do considerable work in India, in the Middle East, Oman, Dubai, considerable work in Australasia, so New Zealand, Australia, and Nigeria in Africa. We have done some work in North America, but not as much as we'd like to. So we have a global presence, and we understand the different cultures, and we can adapt to it. So we have trainers who come in parts, and they could local service. Our view is it's a fruitless exercise if people are sent these different training approaches, Prince 2, Agile, Managing Successful Program Change Management. Yes, we develop an organization or a corporate approach of delivering change initiative, because each method uses different terms to mean the same thing for roles and responsibilities and for documents. So it's essential, we believe, that the organization sets up an organizational approach. And the countries we mentioned earlier, we've been working in the oil and gas, electricity company, healthcare, police, developing an organizational approach to change initiatives, whether they're managed as programs or they're managed as projects. So we have extensive experience in that area as well. So we provide what we call a blended learning. So if you are coming to us to do agile project management training, we will give our delegates, participants, a very good understanding of the other methods. So we'll talk about how does agile project management fit in the world of managing successful programs and change management. Because if you deliver things in an incremental way, then there'll be incremental learning dips. If we deliver things in a waterfall way, then there'll just be one learning dip, but it'll be a massive learning dip. So although you've come to learn about one method, you end up in the qualification in one method, you should have a very good idea of how the methodology fits in everything else. We've also written articles, most recently on behalf of AXELOS, on the value of a portfolio management office. Because unless we have something like that, and our team are doing some form of blended learning, the value to their qualification does not benefit the organization. So please access the blog through the AXELOS website, or you may wish to follow other articles or blogs or videos that we've created, which are available from our website on the news and video tab. And you will see the kind of areas we're talking about and how we add value to your learning. Traditionally, organizations will run a 4-day or a 5-day practitioner course, Agile, Change Management, Prince 2, etc. Or you see Foundation, they will do 2 back-to-back days with the exam on the second. So we believe following that, the focus is sometimes on passing the examination. Similar 2-day foundation course, we break it down, as you see, into different sessions. And again, where possible, we will do this. It's not always possible due to travel, due to where the courses are being run and the availability of the staff. However, where possible, you see, we split those 2-day learning into 3 sessions. Because, as we've said, at the end of our training, we do blended learning, have a good knowledge of the other methods. We also provide you with tables that show you the different terminology used for roles and documents in different methods, and our suggestion would be for you to use a collective or a blended term within your own organization. The idea of the gap between day 1 and day 2 is for our participants to go back to their organization, work with colleagues and say, actually, I learned this thing about this particular role. How do we fulfill that role? What term do we use in the organization? But most crucially, how does that learning apply to our initiatives within our organization? Because every organization is unique. And having done the 3 days, as you see, the exam is also taken some after the session. Now that may be change management, that may be agile, Prince 2, managing successful programs. We follow the same philosophy. And we do find our colleagues not only pass flying colors, but they also have a deeper seated knowledge of their method because they have had an opportunity to reflect, apply, and then move on. And we understand that approach may not fit everyone. Some people simply want the qualification. And if that is what's required, then that's exactly what we would do. So if our clients, our partners, would like a 3-day or a 5-day back-to-back, then we make it very clear that learning will be difficult, then it's essential that we do a lot of pre-reading. Because as you've seen, the previous slide, there is 15 hours of reading. Well, you could read, but it sometimes doesn't make sense. It's simply dry reading. But if you've had a first session, then you then go and do some reading, then the reading is focused on that much better. Location, where can we train? Well, we will do traditional training classroom, which we have been doing for over 10 years. And as you see, we can have 20, 24, 25. We have run 49 people. And because it went very well, the client to run 6 similar sessions after that. So it's important we tailor. It keeps the cost down, but also a lot of people are being given the same message at the same time. And also team working is very important because these people over 3-5 days will be rotating and working with different partners. Of course, we do a smaller classroom training session depending on our partners' needs. Traditionally, over the last 5 years, we are moving more into webinar style of learning. As you see, choice, the same course is being attended by about 12 to 15 colleagues. Some of them chose to sit around an office and project our training on the screen. Each of them have their own training material, so the room is big enough. Alternatively, a number of people chose to work at home on a one-to-one basis. So using this way, we can cover both styles on people who are got children, who have family commitments, don't actually have to travel, they work from home. And this method has been working extremely well over the last 5 years. And of course, it will save us traveling through the bad weather, getting stuck motorways, or getting stuck at stations when the trains have been cancelled. We are happy to work with our partners in whichever approach they prefer, but we are still having a lot of good positive feedback from people who started to do the webinar training. Another major advantage of doing webinar training is every session that we do is recorded. So this is on the Agile Practitioner training, conducted on the 22nd of July, and the session was recorded 45-minute session. So when we are training, we tend to break every 45-50 minutes. The individuals who have different learning styles. So if you're a reflector or a theorist, you can actually take this video away, download it because it's an MP4 file, watch it on your iPhones or any device that you may have, and recap on what was said. And again, as you can see, learning is much better. But of course, whichever method we use, we find we have an extremely successful pass rate. Currently at foundation and all the methods, we're running at 100% pass rate. And this is a group of 24 that there foundation exam in the classroom, as you've seen, and all 24 of them passed. So for us, when you finish the session with us, we'd like to provide you with the right tools, the right techniques, using home and work examples to help you take charge of your change initiatives before they take charge of you. So we hope you found that session useful. It's given you an understanding on who we are, how we work, and what are the benefits of you working with us. If there are any further questions or comments, please do not hesitate to contact me. We would love to work with you, and we look forward to hearing from you in due course. And thank you very much for your time.